Virginia's Senate recently advanced a bill that would ban a person under the age of 18 from using social media without verifiable parental consent. It comes as similar pushes emerge around the country and in Congress. Stephen Kent joining me from the Consumer Choice Center in studio tonight. Thanks for being up late with us tonight. So this is obviously a topic that's affecting a lot of families, not just in the DMV, but across the country. Social media, it's addictive behaviors, addictive natures. We saw the CEOs of a lot of these big industry giants speaking to Capitol Hill not too long ago. Talk to me about this bill that's going through the Virginia legislature right now.
Sure. So Senate Bill 359 in Richmond really seeks to crack down on minors who have not received parental consent from being on social media platforms that have addictive qualities. So this is sort of the crux of this particular kind of legislation. So addictive qualities and apps that are not primarily for messaging. So we're thinking exactly social media networking apps, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, sort of the classics of social media.
Sure.
And addictive qualities can be a lot of things. It can be color on the apps. It can be notification bubbles, which some have said have casino-like sort of gambling qualities. And also infinite scroll, the ability just to hop on TikTok and scroll forever to find new videos. These are the kind of features that the Senate is trying to crack down on in the interest of protecting kids. But we really feel that this is actually an infringement not only on consumer choice, but also just parental control over what their kids are doing online.
So just to stop you there, on its face value, it seems like a no-brainer, right? Like on face value, you look at it, of course we don't want to give kids something that's addictive or an addictive algorithm or something that's constantly pushing something that might be negative to them, because we see child suicide rates, we see addictive natures with social media. There have been studies done. But you're saying that the addictive nature would be hard to enforce and an infringement. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Well, you know, what you're talking about with parental concerns over what kids are going through in the social media era, depression, social isolation, cyberbullying, all those kinds of things. These are the exact reasons why my 13-year-old daughter just received her first cell phone. She's never had a device, and she will not be on social media until age 16. I don't think that it is actually appropriate. My role as a parent is to be highly engaged in that entire process of knowing what my kid does online and giving them guidance through that entire process. You don't have to co-parent with the government on this issue. There are so many tools available to parents in 2024 for having more access over what their kids do on different cellular devices. We actually just invested in this thing called the Bark Phone, which is an alternative to going to AT&T and Verizon and just getting a new phone. And it's a completely nerfed Android phone that allows you to give permission structures to every single download and every single social app that they might want to use, and possibly deny access to any of those apps as well. There are tools that are available besides giving government more power to make social media companies collect your ID. This is actually something that just really makes me cringe a bit. The idea that if my child wanted to be on a social media app and I'm okay with it, I have to give my ID over to Facebook or Instagram or whoever, same company,
right.
And they're going to hold it and be honeypotted for potential hackers who are going to want to get the IDs and the personal sensitive information of every single user.
So you're saying it should be, the onus should be more on the parents, and these parental controls are already out there, those restrictions are already out there, versus the government kind of cracking down. But what about the kids that don't have parents around as much, or they don't have the parents that know how to do these parental controls?
Sure.
Are they just out of luck here? And second question to that is this even feasible to do state by state when it comes to these big tech giants like something like Instagram?
Well, that's why we have a bunch of different states pursuing their own solutions, running right into the wall of unconstitutionality and lawsuits stopping them from doing these things. And then we also have Congress working on the Kids Online Safety Act, which is sort of the behemoth version of this kind of legislation, which would go national and require age verification for social media apps. But this really is a Trojan horse for online censorship and control of who can be online. At a very fundamental level, what you're saying is that your right, even as a minor, to practice free speech rights, which minors do have under Supreme Court precedent, is conditioned on ID being provided for you to speak online, engage in social conversations, and also find information online. That's not the kind of system we want. We want to primarily empower parents and look to parents to guide their children. But just because some families are not as engaged with their children as others, that doesn't mean that the government then gets more power. That's power you will never get back.
Yeah, and really quickly, we have 15 seconds left. Where do we go next with this bill?
So this bill is now moving over to the House in Richmond, and we also need to keep an eye on what's going on in the U.S. Senate. The Kids Online Safety Act now has 62 co-sponsors and is very likely to pass here in the coming weeks and head over to the House as well.
Important topics that we'll be discussing for quite some time. Stephen Kent, thanks for joining me in studio. We appreciate your perspective on this.
Absolutely.
And we will be right back.